Today is 29th of May and I'm here and back on the Appalachian Trail after a 0 day in Daleville. Mile 720. Took a 0 day and today I'm back and I saw, here's the white blaze, and I saw this man coming up, walking slowly but surely north, and his name is Island Boy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, say hello please.
Hello. Hello from the Florida Keys.
He's been traveling how long?
Well, I rode the bus up here 1,117 miles.
Yeah,
and it was a long ride, as stiff as a board. It's gonna take me a couple of days to get loosened back up.
Now, you're happy to be back on the AT?
Oh yeah, man. I smelled the earth, I smelled the leaves and the trees and the wind, and getting away from that concrete, feel some real stuff under my feet now. Move a nice slow pace, like it's meant to be.
Like it's meant to be. That's good. And well, we've been talking throughout our short path together about different issues about life, and we seem to have agreed in a lot of them. So can you give some insights of what we've been talking about you know,
yeah,
that story, about the story that when you went to Cherokee, for example?
Oh yes. Let's see, on my first hike back in 2008, I came through Cherokee, and most of the hikers went to Gatlinburg, and that was a little too big a city for me, so I went to Cherokee, and I got to meet some Indians there, and some of the ones that hid out are relatives and didn't go on the Trail of Tears. And so they were running a shuttle bus back to the trail, Newfound Gap, so I got a ride. A full Indian guy, Cherokee, was driving the van, so I just wanted to thank him for letting me.
What did you say? How did you say to him?
I told him, I says, I really want to thank you for giving me permission to pass through your land. And he looked kind of funny in a minute. I says, as far as I'm concerned, it's still your land. The way they took it, murdered and took it, it does not belong to them. It still belongs to you.
So yeah, no, and he was happy about to hear that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he said, I haven't heard too many white men say that before.
Oh, wow. That's something to think about. And
yeah.
You were saying that when you Christians in
the yes, they led the main attack. The Christians later on the black people, but earlier on the red man. Yeah, they were right up front. Yeah, they had their rosaries and crosses with them wrapped around the butts of the rifles. Oh yeah. Hang a black man on Friday night and on Saturday night, hang a black man, and then Sunday morning go to church. Forget all about it.
And you went to church because of your grandma, right?
Oh yeah.
Because of respect of your grandma.
Mm-hmm.
But you had long hair, you said.
Oh yeah. Then they told me it's a shame, it's a sin. I couldn't be in there. They said the Bible said long hair was a sin.
What do you
thinking? Boy, oh boy, if a hairstyle is a sin, but killing innocent people is okay. It got things a little mixed up. Yeah. You're gonna go to hell for long hair, but it's okay to kill people. You know, war is good. I seen one picture that had this Pope had some kind of prayer cloth over top of a cannon. He was blessing it. Said, "We can be sure the Lord is on our side."
Right. Oh man, yeah. I mean, when you read history, it's a little bit sad to read it because it's all messed up.
Oh.
I mean, and what is true?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. If you want to find out about the history of the Indian, you got to read their history. Talk to them, not ours. You know?
Why so?
Huh? Yeah, I mean, what happened? They don't tell us. You know, at school, the Indian is the savage, the bad guy, and we're like the superior race. We got to move them out of the way so we can build our condos and stuff in their forests. Yeah, build our freeways. Yeah. Heaven forbid somebody have to actually walk instead of being in that 4,000-pound hunk of metal going down the road. Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, you notice now, everybody wants the biggest car they can get. The big SUV got 10 seats in it, and there's never but one person in there. And they always drive with the right hand and talk on the cell phone with the left hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I hear you. You are telling the total truth, and people don't understand this.
But you know, in this modern world, as my uncle told me one time, I had an uncle from Virginia once. He says, they called me Butch when I was a kid. He said, Butch, he says, you reckon you ever gonna mount anything? I says, nope, ain't planning on it. He says, what do you mean? I says, you know, as long as I got somewhere comfortable to sleep, some good food in my belly when I'm hungry, got some people to socialize with. I said, what else do you need? You know, I don't need 100 acres of land or 4 cars or a bunch of junk like that. Because you don't own it, it owns you. You got a grass, you got to cut it. You got to sharpen the lawnmower blade. You got to balance it. You got to change the oil. You got to change the spark plug. You got to build a shed to store the lawnmower in. You know, it's endless. You know, the less you have, the better. I saw this kung fu movie one time, and this little Chinaman, all he had was a blanket rolled up with a string around it, had a hat and a pair of boots, but he walked barefoot. He had the boots across his shoulder. He was walking. These cowboys made fun of him and says, Chinaman, says, all you got's a pair of boots, a blanket, and a hat. He says, I own very little, that very little may own me. I said,
Makes sense to me. That made sense to you?
Yeah. If you have nothing to steal, they can't steal nothing. Huh? Yeah, one time, this old black man around the vegetable stand. His name was Jake. We call him Jake the Snake. He's about 80-some years old. One day I said, Jake, how old are you? He says, I don't rightly know. He says, when I was a little boy in Georgia, when I was born, he said, they didn't give black people birth certificates. He says, I think I'm about 83. He said, according to some paper that stuck in the Bible back then. He said, I don't know for sure. And one day we was talking. They said, the poor people just ain't got nothing. He says, poor people ain't supposed to have nothing. He says, if they had something, they won't be poor. I said, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, well, Island Boy, it's been great to talk to you over this camera screen on my film, and people will certainly get to know you a little bit and enjoy these great stories. Here in the Appalachian Trail, we are listening to the birds. This is the path that takes us north to Maine, and this is the white blaze that indicates that we are on the right path. That's all we need, to look at the white blaze going north and have our senses open and our emotions free of envy, of the sentiment of wanting to own and possess many things. This is what we own and possess: a backpack, a film, a red stick to help me walk, some shoes, and a high spirit.
And no GPS.
Well, no, you don't want a GPS.
We don't need a GPS. Here are GPS right here. The GPS. 3 by 6.
3 by 6.
Does
That's
not
right.
need batteries. No batteries necessary.
Yeah, it's great. And remember what Khalil Gibran said: when I've reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb.
Yeah.
Great, great.